Hi, everybody. Welcome, welcome. How are you all today? I'm good. I'm good. Kind of quiet. Um, couldn't quite figure out why I woke up in a quiet mood today. And then it hit me. Ian. Hi, Janet. Yeah, the hurricane. Good to see you, sweetheart. Good to see you. Yeah. So I'm feeling all the displaced people and the scared people. This happens every time a hurricane hits Florida. I know people in Florida, and it worries me because both of them are going to be probably affected by this. Well, we all know the way of positive change. Lori, she's in Fort Myers. It's supposed to be really hitting hard there. So, I mean, her address on her website says Fort Myers. So, and she put on her community page about it, that they were in this time, they were in the path, and to pray for her. But she wasn't going to be doing a show. I was like, you're not going to do a show on Friday. Is there going to be even any internet on Friday for her? If she can even be at her house. I'm hoping she went to her brother's. Hi, Teresa. Hey, Naughty Nikki B. Good to see you, my dear. Yeah, I was just talking about feeling kind of today, but I know what it is. I'm feeling all the people in Florida that are trying to get the hell out of the way and wondering about what they're going to come home to. And, I remember Andrew. Wow. Just like I'm sure you guys all remember Katrina. Andrew, they compare Katrina and Andrew to each other. Andrew just stripped palm trees. Stripped trees. Made trees into flagpoles. Did the same thing to people's homes and forced water into the weirdest places, not just because of storm surge, but because of the winds and how it would blast rain into your building. I've had it happen here. It came in through my air conditioner into my air return vents are up in the ceiling. Old house. My air return vents are in the ceiling. And hi, Jenny. So the air, instead of going from inside out, was coming from the outside in because the wind was blowing so hard and it was pounding the rain directly into the vents and down in, dripping on my floor through the air return. So, yeah. Hi, Tracy Ralph. How are you, darling? Yeah. Oh, so yeah, I think that's pretty much what it is. Also, all of a sudden yesterday, had a really, I never had this symptom before, and I hope I'm not developing it. But you have your temporal mandibular joints right here. Mine felt like someone was slowly poking their fingers through my head yesterday. Oh, wowie wow. Whew. So, needless to say, I had mashed potato, garlic and onion mashed potatoes with melted cheese on it for dinner, and proceeded to fall asleep. It's the only way I could get it to stop. And then I woke up to go to the bathroom, and it was pretty much gone. But you know how when you have a migraine, you can just kind of feel it still there, kind of under the surface. So you really don't want to move because you're afraid it'll all start all over again. Yeah. So, yeah. Oh, honey, I when I was first diagnosed with fibromyalgia, Nikki, I was in a car accident shortly after that, and it jammed my 1968 Mustang. Anyway, I had my window down. You know, they're not great for having air conditioning. And I put my foot on the my brake, and the master cylinder went out at a red light. Got in an accident, and my head hit the top of my door frame. You know, kind of like it was going to go outside, but it hit the door frame really hard, and it jammed my neck. I had a big old goose egg on the top of my head. The girl I hit, the ambulance and those guys were all with her, but the fire captain and the guys from the truck were with me. And you know, I was talking and standing. I don't remember half of what I was saying, but all of a sudden I started feeling kind of sleepy, and they were like, "You need to sit back down in your car." So I'm like, but we're in the middle of the intersection. You know, I'm scared to death. Like they're going to go through a fire truck to get through an intersection. It's like that, your brain's not thinking right. And so yeah, so I sat down, and he looked at my head, and he said, where'd you hit your head? I'm like, I don't know. And he's like, did you have your window open? Yeah, always. He's like, okay. Yeah. So they called for an ambulance for me too. Problem is, when they did the x-rays, they didn't catch that I had herniated a disc between C5 and C6. And I lived with it that way for 10 years until I started developing weird numb places. I mean, like, I had a spot on my thigh that big where you could jab it with a knife and I wouldn't feel it. For, no reason. The tips of my fingers burned like fire. It was so weird. So weird. Hey, Manasa. And I didn't know what was going on. So I went to a neurologist and I got an MRI. Actually got 2 MRIs. Because the first MRI was for my lower back, because I have major issues down there in my lower back too. So, but that's not car accident related. That's from years after the car accident. But anyway, they were supposed to be taking pictures of my lower back, and the doctor's handwriting, the L for lumbar looked like C for cervical, and they accidentally found that because they x-rayed the wrong part of my body. We were looking for multiple sclerosis is what we were looking for, because of the symptoms were screwy, really, really weird. Yeah, it was herniated disc, and it was pressing on my spinal cord, and that's why I was having the weird numbness and the burning, and my nerves were just going crazy. So I had surgery. I don't know. You probably can't see the scar anymore. It's right there. Yeah. On 9/11, I was in a neck brace from that surgery. Kind of helpless. Couldn't even run away if I needed to. So I just laid there in the bed and went, am I going to watch it? What's going on? Or am I going to turn over? And I couldn't turn over. I'd lay flat on my back. But my brain, I turned over and went right back to sleep, because what could I do? We all felt like that, I'm sure. Oh, I don't do physical therapy anymore. Physical therapy can be unless you have a physical therapist who specializes in fibromyalgia, they can do more damage to you than they can do good. Now, I'm sorry, that's my personal opinion. I'm not saying that should be everyone's experience, but get one that knows what fibromyalgia is, because the main part of why you're hurting is in our daily activities, our muscles and tendons, they break, little microscopic breaks and tears. And when we sleep at night, those mend. How many of you have issues with insomnia? I mean, that's my number one problem. I have to stop and think, now, when was the last time I slept for 8 hours? And I'll have to take a Sunday. That's why I don't do much. You don't see me much around on Sundays. It's because I force myself to lay around and sleep on Sunday, because I don't know how much sleep I really did get all week. I've gone for 2 weeks on a half an hour, and I never got that dreamy, like I used to when my brain wasn't firing screwy. You feel like, yeah, you went to bed at 4:20 this morning. That's what had already been up for an hour and 20 minutes, Nikki. But I know I'm weird on that, but I do that to do this and Instagram the way I do. So, and the Tarot Love Community website now, I post on that every morning. So I'm not complaining, because I'll tell you what, sure is nice and quiet that time of day. Yeah, and it was my lights had come on my plants. Then I flipped a flower, and 2 weeks later find out that I'm growing a little boy. So plant got cut down yesterday. It's hanging in my dining room drying, because I figure, hey, the leaves will make good tea. There's antioxidants and stuff in marijuana shake leaves. Those big fan leaves, they make really good tea. So, and hey, I don't have to buy green tea that way. So, yeah, it was a bummer. Harley said that it's because I topped it early, but I think it's just because the poor thing, the reason I had to top it early, it was a mutant plant to begin with. So the genetics on this. Nikki, you know exactly the genetics on the purple anaconda. My odds of getting anything out of this other than a plant. I mean, it made a really pretty plant, and the flowers were nice and white and fluffy. So, but you know what? Oh, thank you, Tracy. Thank you so much. It's really interesting. All those memes and inspirational things, I have all those I find on Pinterest. I've had Pinterest boards since Pinterest first started. So that ought to tell you how many I have. One of them, which is this artist right here, I have over 500 pins of her work in. This is Josephine Wall. So if you ever want to go over there on Pinterest, gosh, I don't remember what the name is. I will put it in the description box. So in here in a minute when we get all done. So yeah, that's where it all comes from. I just go over to Pinterest, and it's funny because I'll do the card. I'll pick the card, I write the card up. Then I go over to Pinterest and bingo, there's all these suggestions that are either up to how the card triggered me personally, not the card itself, but my brain interpretation that the computer has no idea of knowing what that is. So the universe gives me lots of messages through Pinterest. Really? Oh, we can have a class if you want to do that. I can do a Pinterest tutorial. I learned how to do a share screen on here. So yeah, we can do that. I think that would be a lot of fun. At first, it was not pretty much all about recipes. And that's why I started it. It was, oh man. And they were things like Country Living magazine recipes. So they were really easy stuff that you normally had this stuff in your kitchen for, and good food. I have a recipe for a deep dish pizza. One of the main ingredients is instant mashed potatoes, Hungry Jack mashed potatoes. It makes a really fluffy bread crust. that's kind of sweet because you've got a little bit of sugar in there to make it rise, right? It is so good. I sometimes I'll just make that for and cut it into squares, and that's my bread to eat for the week. It's good, and it's not like knead it and work it because it's getting fed by the mashed potatoes and the sugar. The yeast does. So yeah, it makes a real deep dish pizza. Crust like this, but the way you make it into in a cake pan. So you can pile on the topping like that if you want to. So yeah, one piece is more than a meal. That's one thing I do love to do is cook. And it's only me. So I don't do it very much anymore. I really miss it. Oh, sure. No problem. Oh, you can't navigate it. Okay. Gotcha. Yeah. Oh, I have lots of private secret ones too. You can do private boards. You see stuff on there that you really like that you don't want anybody to know. Like make a board that's like your journal board or a vision board. And you see something that's really pretty on there and you click save and it'll pop up and ask you, do you want to create a board to put it in? And that's called pinning it to a board. And you'll say, you can type in what you want to call it and put it in there. I had a huge list. I had gardening and doing ponds and Native American stuff. I have Celtic stuff. I don't have much on the Norse stuff. We're going to have to work with Miss Rachel on that. Oh, by the way, have an announcement. Lightworkers Roundtable is probably going to go through some changes. Rachel and I are talking about possibly doing a co-host on there. But with different topics, not necessarily like I have been doing it. Not sure when we're going to start it or anything. It's just something she and I are toying with. She and I have talked about being co-hosts on a podcast or a YouTube channel or something for 5 years. So we both got channels now. We might as well. Oh, by the way, it's cool enough here. I don't have to run the air conditioner, but I can't have the window open because of what happened yesterday. I think a lot of that was sinus as well. My teeth hurt. So I was gritting my teeth yesterday too. I can feel that in my teeth today. So trying very hard today not to close my mouth completely. That's hard. It's really hard. Anyway, I'm scatterbrained all over today. Yeah, I've been on Pinterest for years, but I know how to get around it because I've been there every time they change it and they upgrade it. And it's like being around on YouTube forever, which I think YouTube is my second home now. I love hanging out with you guys. Gonna have my Tuesdays full in November with Manasa, who's lurking, sweet, lovely lady. She and I are going to be starting a series in November. And tomorrow I'm really excited because Freebird Spirit, Debbie, is going to be on the Lightworkers Roundtable with me tomorrow night. 5 o'clock Pacific. I sound like I'm drunk. Pacific. I am really excited. It's taken us a while to work our schedules out so that we could do this. So I am so honored and so happy. So yeah, it should be a really good time. Should be, since we are both let spirit take it where it goes kind of people, I can't wait to see where it takes us tomorrow night. So, yeah, and most of you guys, I know you'll be there because you usually are. Thank you. I love you. And for those of you who are new, who come in or who listen after this, I really love you too. All you guys are the reason I'm here. I don't do this for my glorification and yeah, that's not what I'm here for. I'm here for you guys. So I think, yeah. Oh, I hope you can. I hope you can too, hon. Yes, and Tracy, in late October, I have. Let's do the 1st of November, Tracy, because Dr. Gale is going to be coming with me on the last Thursday of October. And it dawned on me after I talked to her this morning. It was like, that's my Thursday before Halloween show. What an appropriate person. You know, Spirit works in wonderful ways. You know, it's crazy to me. Yeah, how everything just kind of falls together. Yesterday was one of those days where I was doubting myself. I was doubting everything. This new moon knocked me down. I was even having a hard time staying in Stoney's chat. My mind kept wandering. Oh, look at this. And, oh, check that. And, oh, look at this. Yeah. That was also partly. I think also I was frustrated because I've worked for 12 weeks to have to cut my plant down for nothing. And it's the only plant I have. So that really limits my choices, if you know what I mean. So that's okay. I do have quite a stash. Your birthday month? Is this your birthday month, Jenny? You say you feel more charged during my birthday month? Can you guys tell I'm used to doing YouTube before you could post what people were saying on the screen? When I had my channel before and we'd do the party night, I would spend my whole night reading the chat and responding to everybody in the chat. And I would read what you posted, and then I've forgotten a lot of that. October, yes. Awesome. All right, so are you Libra or a Scorpio? And happy birthday. Absolutely happy birthday. You're a Libra. Hey, us air girls. Yeah, I'm an Aquarius. So, yeah, I get you. That's cool. And you're a Scorpio, Jenny. Awesome. So, are you still going to be? I guess nobody's traveling anywhere today, especially towards the east. Oh, your birthday's on the 29th. Oh, wow. That's cool. Because, yeah. Okay. Yeah, this hurricane's really got me thrown. Well, for one thing, you guys, you know that it as the winds happen and the debris hits each other. And hi, Gertrude. Good to see you. Welcome. Welcome. As all that's happening, I mean, this is in a hurricane. This is in any major storm where you got that going on. You have sparks of electricity. You have the barometric pressure go doing this. And all of that is Mother Nature's warning and to get out of the way. So I worry that people don't leave in time or decided to wait it out. You know, I was watching something. Who was it? after a hurricane, they went to go help. And they were down by the water, and boats were stacked on top of each other, like 5 high, because the wind and the storm surge would just, oh, okay, toss it higher and toss it higher. I can't imagine. I used to want to live on a houseboat. So I think about what it would be like on a storm. You know, I want to go back to the Pacific Northwest and along the Columbia River and stuff. A lot of people live on these beautiful houseboats, and tiny house like houseboats. I mean, it's be perfect for an Aquarius, right? No, no. A few years ago, they actually had a tornado go through. My best friend lives in Longview, Washington, and it put a tree down in the middle of her house. So, she lives on the side of a hill with really tall fir trees, and it just snapped one of them. The wind did. But made me concerned about those people living down on the Columbia River. That's the third largest river in the United States, y'all. Can you imagine? Imagine. Well, where it meets the ocean, is one of the most dangerous shipping zones on the planet, because the sands will shift with the currents. And if you're not a really experienced, I don't know what you call him, the ship's captain, you can't get your oil tanker and stuff up to Portland, because you won't get past one of those. And those things, I mean, there's thousands of shipwrecks that are under that water that you can't see from, back in the days of the fur traders, because of how that is getting in and out of that river into the ocean. So, I think, was it called Cape Defiance? I think it's called. Our lighthouse is up on a big, tall cliff, and on YouTube, I've seen videos, and I've seen it in person too, where the wind is blowing the waves in so hard that they will splash almost clear up to the bottom of the lighthouse. And we're talking 5-6 stories high to the bottom of the lighthouse. Rugged land. So, yeah. Oh, thank you, Tracy. Thank you. Yes. So what this earth is, she's been telling us stuff, She's been trying to say, watch out. I had it all planned, this thing to talk about the first hour today. So, hey, let's take off with it for this second half hour. We'll just change the energy a little here. I got a new toy. It's not a toy, but I got a drum. When I hit it, it makes me tear up. So apparently the energy changes. I love it. It's really pretty to hang on the wall. Wasn't really expensive. It's not animal skin. It's actually a real, like, silk material, like a scarf material. So, and there's other ways to hold it to get different sounds. I've been having a ball with it. So yeah, it's kind of fun. Change the atmosphere. Thank you. Yes, Tracy rocks. Yeah, that's the topic I wanted to talk about. Let's just pull a card from Shining Hawk, since in honor of the drum and drumming. Shining Hawk Healing. Tony from her deck. the Morning Sky Shamanic Oracle deck. I love this deck. I cannot wait to get Lena's and Sienna Rose's deck as well. I'm big on color, okay, you guys? You'll notice, I don't know if you've ever noticed, but I only have like maybe 1 or 2 decks. I'm looking over here because I have all my decks out now where I can see them all. I have Tarot over here and Oracle over here. I don't have the Lenormands out. The computer's sitting on top of the Lenormands. I don't do them anyway, so that's why they're not out. But you'll notice over here, there's not I only have a couple decks that are in pastel colors. And even those colors are not super duper pastel. I'm a color person. I guess nobody's ever said I was soft. well, no, I can't say that. Oh my goodness. Don't do that again. Oh my gosh, that was funny the other day. That's some cat hair. I don't know where that would come from on a navy blue shirt. Yeah. Channeling. You know, I only channel once in a while. It's not something that I intentionally go into. I'm kind of in a state of that anyway, all the time. Not like where I can't keep track of stuff. I do that. Thank you very much. Actually, I spend a lot of time with spirit because who else am I going to talk to? I live alone. I talk to you guys. My neighbors aren't the friendliest, so they don't quite understand me. One thinks that I'm a ghost because he never sees me. That might be intentional. T. Rumper. No, he's the guy that took my kitty cat. Okay, it has nothing to do with his politics. Because I've lived next to him since 1991. His politics never bothered me that much before. I just was like, okay, that's the way you believe, and that's the way I am. But yeah, so I don't talk to him. And the one on the other side, even though I cut my trees down and it's all safe now, she's still trying to act like she's trying to drive me to sell my house and move. My house is paid for. All I have is property taxes. Property taxes and insurance and my utilities. I don't have that gigantic house payment on top of that. So if she thinks she's going to force me to move, if I sell my house, I'm not going to be able to find something else that I don't know. I want to go where I want to go for the amount of money I'm going to get for this house. So finding something comparable is not even a dream. I just want to do a tiny house. But the prices on that stuff has all of a sudden gone because of supply issues during COVID. And you know, once prices go up, you ever notice them going way down? Hey, Stoney. Good to see you, my man. Yeah, so the topic I was going to talk about was freedom. That was my card of the day. And it just really struck a chord with me. And Spirit says, why don't you talk about it today? Because I'm like, what am I going to talk about in the first hour? I want to know, what does freedom, real freedom, mean to you? I can tell you what it means to me, but I want to know what it means to you first. It's one of my cards in my deck, but I can't get it out because my deck is in with the Lenormands. My deck that I'm making. It's the Freedom card. I can tell you what the image is of. Well, actually, hold on just a moment. I grabbed the printout of the cards. I'll be right back. Okay. My cards. Okay. Freedom card, where are you? It's a powerful image, is why I want to show it to you. I don't know if I can hold it, if I can get it where you can see it. Really see it. It's a chain. It's a person with a chain around them. Their hand is bleeding and the blood drips are turning into a rose. Yeah. Oh, freedom is everything. Oh my gosh. That's why we're the water bearer. We're constantly pouring and changing and stirring things up. And freedom for you is to be able to do what you want. The reason this is such a powerful image to me, I'll put it on Instagram so you can see it up close. The reason it's such a powerful image to me is it's a reminder there's a cost to freedom. Yeah, when you realize you have no options, you have no freedom. But you guys, freedom seems to always have cost. It's kind of weird because when Spirit told me to talk about freedom was with Crosby, Stills, Nash, and Young. Find the cost of freedom. How long do we have to pay for freedom in human lives? I'm really sick of it. I don't know about you. So because of that major change on my channel, on this show, I have eased it up, and I will read on current events and politics if you would like. Now, I want it understood. I don't have my political readings will be biased. It's the only way I can say that because they are for what's best for humanity. And a lot of what is going on right now is what's best for me. And that's why it's all falling apart. It's not about personal freedoms. Freedom is about making sure everyone is free. That's what it means to me. And until every single person has the same opportunities I have had, and believe me, I was just blessed to be born with this color skin and have a father who pushed me to go to college because he didn't. And I'm not saying I'm this huge success because I'm not. But I can see the gray zones because I went and got an education. That education taught me how to look at, this is going on. And this is going on. Is there a correlation between these two? Is there something I'm not seeing in this thing? It just makes me, I question a lot. Well, it also helps that what I studied in college most of the time was science and computers. Even my writing education is in script writing, which is totally and completely a language. You could say script writing is scripted because if you don't write it just perfect, they will throw your script away and won't even give it a chance. So, yeah. Kind of interesting. Makes me wonder, what is it about all that that has attracted me, you know? Well, that's been like a professional face, that professional mask, dress for success as a travel agent. So, suits, and I carried a briefcase, and I wore the little kitten heels. And because if I can't run through an airport to catch an airplane on standby with stilettos on, sorry, you'll break your neck. You take those off and run barefoot. Oh, that's a nice thing to do through a public place. Not that I haven't done it, but yeah. So the fact that I sit here at home, freedom is not getting mail plants. Duh. You should see it. It's hanging upside down though in my living room. Sucker had a stalk on it bigger than like right the base of my thumb. There's a lot more to the story on that plant that Harley didn't tell everybody yesterday. It's not because I topped it when I did. I had to top it when I did because the sucker stalled for almost 8 weeks and did not grow at all. As a matter of fact, all the other seeds that I plant started around it, because I didn't want to count on it because it was the experimental plant. They all croaked. So I thought, well, at least this plant's tough. We'll see what we get. That's why I kept saying in there, we'll see if we get a harvest. We'll see if we get a harvest. But really, to be honest with you, I don't expect to get anything out of that plant. Makes a beautiful plant for a house plant, though. If they ever make it where we can, and it blasted off because it got cooler. It was the heat and humidity combo. I mean, you got to watch that. Hey, Pixie, welcome, darling. Good to see you. Yeah, because of that combo, and it both were extremely high, 90 and 41, 50%, 90 degrees in there, and 41 and 50% humidity. I just steaming those things. I mean, that's not even Amazon kind of weather. That's ridiculous. So we tried turning it up to see if that would help, turn up the humidity. That just made it worse. The seeds that came from Colorado went, oh no, I'm checking out. Overnight, they were it was just laying on the ground. So the only thing I've got growing right at the moment is an avocado seed. And I know it's growing because when I water it, the water disappears. Something's drinking it up, so it's making roots. Yes. Yeah, it's huge. It is huge. I love to watch his videos. So my dear friend, you know what I think I'm going to do? You know what seeds I'm going to pop? I'm kind of toying. It's either going to be the chocolate hazelnut from Harley. Maybe I'll pull a card on that, a yes or no card. Chocolate hazelnut from Harley or cherry train haze from you. For Christmas time to grow over the cool season, so I'll have that in the spring. So right about the time when it gets too hot for me to be buying chocolate here, starting in April, you have to keep chocolate bars and stuff in your refrigerator because it gets really messy because it melts everywhere. So, as a matter of fact, it just hit me a little while ago. Woo, it's cool enough now. I think I can get some gummies. I can get some of those gummies. Only had them once and it was too hot. Oh, Pixie, they're delicious. Oh my God, they're good. They're little tart, a lot. They're chewy. They're not like a lot of homemade gummies. I mean, I can say that because I make homemade gummies. A lot of homemade gummies, if you just use gelatin, just Jello and gelatin, can be kind of rubbery if you don't get the combination right. I use when I make mine sour, as an emulsifier, I use vitamin C. So my gummies have vitamin C in them too. But my gummies are just for me. And the main ingredient comes from Harley anyway. So, yeah. Harley, your favorite YouTuber? Yeah. So, hey, good to have good friends, But anyway, freedom. Back to talking about freedom. Yeah. Yeah, and Scully and a lot of good people. I love it. Freedom. Like I said, there's a cost. I woke up to the poem, or how it goes. Gosh, it's a really old one. Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young. Yeah, it was when Young was with them. Find the cost of freedom buried in the ground. Mother Earth will swallow you, lay your body down. When does freedom have to have that fucking cost anymore? I'm ready for that to stop. He's making American criminals. No, I think those people were already there. I think he just gave them permission. He just gave them a voice. They're slowly quietening down, some of them. The bigger mouth ones, you notice they're the ones that were the big braggers, like Mr. Stone, Mr. Roger Stone. He's in deep shit today from a documentary. What is it with these guys? You want to keep a secret, you don't invite a documentary crew in on that friggin' meeting. Just saying. Anyhow, doesn't make any sense to me, but hey, I'm a scientific thinker. It's funny, I'm an artist, but when you get over on the left side of my head, get on the left brain over here, totally analytical. Yeah. I'm not really good at reasoning sometimes because I am not Libra. I'm the Aquarius. I'm the rebel. I go off half cock and go, what did I do that for? So I'm going to pull a card for us about freedom from this deck. It's from Shining Hawk Healing channel. Tony Shining Hawk, my sweet friend. And I like to pull from this deck like she pulls from it, which is she holds it like this and pulls from the center. And I can't do it without putting it down on the table. Sorry, you guys. She pulls from the center, and usually a card will stick up from the other cards. See how we got cards sticking up there? That's the card you take. And there's two of them, so we'll take them both. Wow, every time I pulled from this deck this morning, I keep getting the same card. Okay. Freedom has a lot to do with our ego. You got to be careful when you're touting freedoms and personal freedoms that you don't let the ego get in the way and stomp all over someone else's. No two people look through the same eyeballs with the same comprehension in the brain. As a matter of fact, that brings out the second card, which is confusion. Ego steps in, what happens? You get confused. There isn't, yes, Pixie, there is, I just took the words right out of my mouth. There isn't any balance. Ego is the king of creating confusion for you. Now, there's different ego. I'm not talking about that arrogant son of a bitch. I kind of am. But I'm also talking about you have two parts to you. This is the yin and the yang. Part of you is spirit, and part of you is ego. They're made to work together, and when they work together, you hum along. You're creative, you're loving, it's wonderful. Hey, Geek Hillbilly. Yeah, I'm so scared for Lori. I also have a friend in Jacksonville, and she lives in a high rise. Anyway, back to my ego. This ego that's like the other side of spirit is the one that will take you down doubt and fear and worry, to the point where you get confused. And yeah, the best thing that you can do is to learn ask yourself, when you have a thought that kind of sounds kind of negative, ask yourself, is that my ego talking to me? Yeah, inner dialect. Yes. Is that my ego talking to me? Or is that my spirit? And I'll tell you how you can tell. When it's ego, you're really uncomfortable. You get angry quick. You get your feelings hurt quick because you're centered in ego. When you are in spirit, you don't have that confusion because you're relaxed, you're trusting. The only reason the ego will do this is it gets bored. If it doesn't have a reason, it's a fight or flight is what it was designed for. And in our modern society, we don't really have a lot of occasion to be in fight or flight. Most people actually are right now in fight mode, and which makes a lot of the rest of us want to go into flight mode. Gee, well, I guess the world's kind of ego oriented. Yeah. So that's why everything's falling apart. But you know what? You can't have new stuff. You can't always use that. You can't put a new piece of clothing in a closet that's so full you can't fit your hand in it. You have to take something out to make room. I was just talking earlier how I want to do a tiny house. I can't wait to get rid of all of this stuff. And it's weird because all of this stuff I was so sentimental. All of this stuff meant so much to me. I thought it would be a comfort for me when my parents and everybody, when my parents passed away. I thought, well, I have my cousins and everybody, and they can all admire it here at home too. Well, I don't have the cousins and everybody anymore, and I don't have the parents and everybody anymore. And the heirlooms are going in a museum here because of my pioneer ancestry in Arizona. The rest of the stuff, I'm going to hire those estate people that come through your house, help you go through stuff, mark shit, and then they sit and sell it for you for a percentage. To me, with the fibromyalgia, it's worth it because I can't do that all by myself. There's too much. I have 2 sheds in the backyard that are full. One of them is just full of my dad's nuts and bolts and extra pieces of PVC. He was a pack rat. Pieces of PVC pipe, copper pipe, because he might need it to patch something. Paint, shelves and shelves of paint. I haven't even been out in that shed in a while because there's a beehive underneath it. Every time I go near it, I get stung. So good thing I'm not allergic to bees. And these are the Africanized bees. That's all we have here in Arizona. So, but yeah, you don't run. Keith does not run. Tough man, that one. someone who deserves a lot of honor. But you know what, dude? I'm sorry that they're trying to burn you out again. Their voices are being taken away from them. And, you know, we all knew that some people were going to be getting violent. I am just saying both sides. I don't want to see either side get violent because I know liberals are getting really, really tired too. So I just am tired of I'm tired of conflict, hate, and division, damn it. I'm a person about being a part of the network, the web, and the collective, because that's where I come from. Matter of fact, Dr. Gale, who's coming the end of October for the Lightworkers Roundtable, universe willing, I mean, we set it up today. That's her thing. That's her thing. Extraterrestrials. She lives up near Mount Shasta, which is a portal ley line. I grew up 90 miles north of there, looking at that mountain on a daily basis in all of its wonderful forms. And I got some fun people coming tomorrow. Like I said, is Freebird Spirit. Debbie is going to be here tomorrow night. So Geek Hillbilly, you got to come back and talk to Debbie. She's going to be here. 5 o'clock Pacific. So yeah, got some fun people coming. And my friend Dolly from the Wolf Girl Oracle, she and I are talking about doing a show together. I don't know if it'll be a once a month or a twice a month thing, but it'll be 1 week on my channel, 1 week on her channel, and co-hosting. And we love talking about things like Bigfoot and stuff like that, but not necessarily the scary dark side of it, you know. But you know, we're not going down. It seems like so many people are going down that reading on ghost stuff. I'm not into that. Thanks. I don't want to invite that into my life. I've done my very best to clear it all out. You see this stuff right here? I never start a day or end a day without smudging me in my house. And this sage is neat because it's got calendula petals and rose petals in it. And no, that doesn't bother my sinuses. Sweet. The sage bothers my nose more than because the sage smells like I've got a steakhouse going in here. It's like I open the windows in the morning and I'm sure my neighbors get up and go, wow, what steakhouse is still cooking? Because I've just smudged the room. Yes, channel message is self-empowerment. Yeah, that's what I do with my card readings. That's why I'm an oracle reader. I have to show you guys today. Also, that's the other announcement. I'm going to be doing tarot cards. I got my cheater tarot cards that have all the keywords written around them. And, you know, whether it's a fire card, whether it's a yes or no card, what the main meanings of the card are, whether it's a right side up or reverse. I've used them. I used them a couple of weeks ago. I guess it's been about 3 weeks ago now with PD Connects when she and I were reading together. That was a blast. She might come back today. I sent her the link. She was talking about maybe she might show up. That's why in the title it has surprise guest. But today I sat down and wrote out my spread that I will be using now. So that until I get used to it. See, I'm a novice at this, so bear with me. You know, I'm kind of like Aiden was when he was Aiden Learns Tarot. Now he's Aiden Reads Tarot. Anyway, he's only 19, Pixie, and boy, is he good. So anyway, I've got my spread now. I've got the cards ready to go. And one of the main reasons I'm doing this is because next week I'm going to be doing most of my readings with this. This is not the only one. And this. remind you of the season. And these little sad, this is a really trippy deck. That's a lizard she's covering her body with. It's, yeah. And no, I will not use this deck yet. You can tell it's been used, but I'm not ready to dive into that. The artwork on it is fantastic, but I'm not an Aleister Crowley fan. This is the Thoth deck. The person that has the beautiful Thoth deck that uses it all the time is Lena Rodriguez. So I would like to take a class from her on reading Thoth before I even do it. But it's up here, ready to go. Oh, I guess I could use my Guillermo del Toro deck too for Halloween. Ooh, trippy, trippy, trippy. That's the Queen of Cups, y'all. So yeah, I got some. This is my card. Oh, that's interesting that it fell open to my signifier card. The Queen of Swords. She's carrying her head in a platter. Each one of these cards, believe it or not, are based on some of his movies. Guillermo del Toro, the actor and producer. It's a fun deck. Let's see. I mean, like this is discs or coins, swords. See, those are simple, but the court cards and the major arcana. Okay, this one would give me nightmares if I got that in a reading. I don't know about y'all. But these decks are kind of fun to use. I've actually used them for card of the day when I first got the deck. So, yeah, knives or swords? Yes, she is. I was just listening to Danny. Danny Shea, Bathrobe Tarot. He was just on my channel a couple weeks ago, a month ago, 3 weeks ago. Anyway, he was on. Anyway, he was saying how that the party is going to be on the 3rd of October on Sienna Rose Metaphysical's channel. If one of you guys want to put that in there, I would be greatly appreciative of you for that. Yeah. Oh, you got to go to work? Well, darling, have a good one. See you later. And I'm waiting for you to join me too, Miss Pixie Post, as we've been talking about on Instagram. So I think you and I'd have a blast. And if you would prefer not to show your face, that's fine with me. Everybody knows, especially on this particular show, everybody's welcome on here. This is the open show. This is for you guys. It doesn't have a planned format. The Lightworkers Roundtable has a planned format, sorta. Just a couple things that we do every week, but the rest of it is free flowing. Wow, that keeps looking like the whole picture is going forward, and it's that evaporative. Look at that, Stony. Look at that move. You know what's blowing that? That's that evaporative cooler that I bought on Amazon. That's how it's been blasting in my grow room. I thought, well, I have nothing growing in there but an avocado plant, and it's not above the ground. So I turned everything off, lights off, cleaned it all out yesterday. And, oh, I'd love to have you up here anytime, Keith. That would be wonderful. Send me an email. From your computer, if you go to my About page, my email's right there. You know, you have to click on the stupid little box and then play the Kamchatka game. Pick 3 motorcycles and we'll let you have our email address. It's so stupid. I don't know why they do that, what the purpose is. It's not like it stops hackers. It's just a pain in the butt for people who are not computer literate. So, yeah. Anyhow, yeah, That's how much air it was blowing in my little teeny tiny closet. That's really blowing the air. Really blowing the air. Yeah, send me your email address or email me, Geek Hillbilly, and then we can talk. I'd love to have you up here. You and I have a lot in common as far as the computer world goes. I've been working with computers since 1983, my friend. So really, that's why I don't like tell a lot of people, well, yeah, I can help you with your YouTube. I can, yeah, oh, you got problems in StreamYard? Well, if you do this, or, oh, you want to make that more private? We can tweak it here. I don't do that stuff anymore. It ends up causing me headache. And I end up having people depending on me to fix all their computer issues. And they don't want to pay me to do that. So, because I'm in Tucson and the going rate's not super cheap for some personal, because I used to do that. Go to people's houses and troubleshoot their computers was a side job. I worked for Microsoft doing Windows technical support. So if you pay me instead of paying Microsoft, I could have gotten fired for that. But if you paid me instead of paying Microsoft, I'd come to your house. We all did that. All of us did that. And we didn't get our customers from the phone calls of Microsoft. So what difference did it make? Yeah. And it usually wasn't Windows that we were fixing. It was, well, I can't get it to dual boot with Linux, or Unix, or, because we didn't have Linux back then. Linux was, shoot, that was back in the days of Pine. Geek Hillbilly, do you remember Pine? To do emails? And that was the only way you could message each other with Pine. Oh my God. That's back in the monochromatic computer days. There was no pictures. Okay. Yeah. Peace dot and microdot. That's my kind of computer and printer. Purple. Peace dot. Dragon. Microdot. Or no. Dragon Peace dot and purple microdot. Now I have actually had both of those. Not at the same time, though. Holy shit. Oh. You've been working on a personal AI? Oh, that's cool. I just don't want an AI that is going to be so smart that it's going to run me. When I first watched The Terminator, it scared the shit out of me because I was working in I just started working in the computer industry, and I could see how, oh, good God, that is true. How that it could all happen. Yeah. Oh, DOS. I love DOS. Yeah. Yeah. DOS. And then Gates got GUI from Xerox. You know, Xerox invented what you see on the screen now. The GUI interface was invented by Xerox. And Steve Jobs was interested in it, but he got in an argument with one of the CEOs. I believe this is the story. Got in an argument with one of the CEOs or somebody he knew at IBM and decided to hell with it. If they weren't going to pay him an exorbitant amount of money to take it off their hands, he didn't want to talk to him because it was never going to be anything. And Bill Gates snuck, like Bill Gates is famous for doing, snuck in underneath him and bought it out from underneath him. Paid him what they wanted. And that's when they were both small companies. So that's how we got Windows 3.1. Yeah, I know that from classes. Used to be a Microsoft certified engineer. I built computers and I fixed the software. And I hated every minute of it. And I did it because the money was good. I'm so much happier now that I'm poor. because I don't have all that stress. I don't have people calling me freaking out. I don't. Oh, yeah. Yeah. And I used to think it would be so cool. I got that degree. I got my bachelor's degree in business information systems so that I could become a systems analyst. And in those days, it was like, oh, to make 100. This was the 1993, 94, 1995. $160,000 a year was good money. I thought this was a little girl who didn't know much about money. I thought $160,000 a year was great money. I could even get a swimming pool and all that good stuff. And yeah, go in debt up to my eyeballs because I have a good computer job, right? And I could work at the University of Arizona as a systems analyst, which I knew some people there that did that. And bingo, fibromyalgia slapped me in the ass. I was too stressed out. I was actually had just finished. When I finished school, I was working 2 full-time jobs and going to school at night. So I had no time for myself. I traded me in for $1. Found out, yes, I had a price. And let me tell you, that's a rude awakening. It's a really bitter piece of humble pie. Because when it's gone, what do? You adapt. And it's interesting because when I was studying psychology in college back in the 1970s, that was the number one thing I got out of behavioral organization. Behavioral organizational psychology was you work together as a team and you adapt. And that's like, oh, gee, shades of Orwell, 1984. Make it true, huh? Yeah. So, anybody want a card? We're over an hour. Anybody want a card? I got all my cards out here. I got so many pretty cards to choose from today. Wow. You guys say you pick it, I'm my head will swim. You make my jaws hurt. You still fix. I know you do. You build computers. You take old computers and make new computers out of them. For people who can't afford to buy a brand new computer, I think what you do, Geek Hillbilly, is terrific, and I greatly appreciate it. Matter of fact, should put you on Lightworkers Roundtable, definitely, because I want to know what you do to keep yourself inspired. You work at the food bank. You go and go and go, and you always have, from what I gather. So, yeah. You need to come and join me. I would love that. That would be great. And Gertrude was in here earlier, too. I would love to have you come join me as well. I'm going to send you an email. Well, I'll be sending Keith. I'll send you one, too, once I have an address to send it to. So, I'm looking over here at the tarot cards. Looking at the oracle cards. I'm trying to see if... Oh, here's a deck I have never used. Here. Because I put it in one of those lovely safe places that's so safe that I was safe from me. You ever do that? Oh, I hate it. Anyway, this is one of my collector's decks. I'll have to read it to you out of the book, but you guys, let's pull a card from this. Get the book. As everything falls as I pull the book out. They're all about spirit animals, medicine animals. Jamie Sams and hello, David Carlson. I have these little fake tea lights up here on my bookshelf, and then I pulled that book out. Now they're falling. So these are awesome cards too. The discovery of power through the ways of animals. This deck came with a hardback guidebook. Okay. I always cover my books with. It's removable. Book cover made out of a brown paper. See? It definitely comes off with a brown paper bag just to protect the book. But anyway, yeah, this you can use this with medicine wheel and that kind of thing. So, which I'm in the process, as you know, making a medicine wheel and rattle. I'm changing the handle. I found a better stick, so now I got to take that handle out, which isn't any big deal. All I'm doing is cutting through glue and paper, and to put this bigger one in. It's a more substantial one for my hand. Won't take quite as much leather to wrap it with either. So, what we got going on here? These cards are all flipped around weird. Oh, I know why. Oh, these are the blanks. This is the other thing that's really cool about this deck. If you come across an animal spirit, you can add to it. So there's a bunch of blank decks. There are a bunch of blank cards. Well, not that one. Whoop. Not that one. Everything's backwards in this silly camera. But these are the animals in this. Possum. Whoop. Owl. So let's see what we get. Let's pull some cards. These aren't in print anymore. So that's why I say they're a collector's item. I love vintage decks. So, this is by Jamie Sams, which my knowledge of Native American names, just because I painted a little Navajo girl and her last name was Sams. So I am assuming, oh, thank you, Geek Hillbilly. You sure you want that out there for the public? Thank you. Yes, it's here. It's here for me in StreamYard now. Thanks. Perfect. I need to learning how to use this better. I can come back and get it. What am I doing? It records it. I love StreamYard. It's expensive though for what it does. So let's see what kind of an animal message? Oh, typo. Public address. Okay. Cool. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Yes, let's do it. I would love to have you on there. And I know everybody in the community will come because they want to come and see you. You know, a couple of years ago, you were sick. Everybody was like, where's Geek Hillbilly? Where's Geek Hillbilly? Anybody see him? Anybody see him? You know, you guys are so much a part of our lives. You don't realize it in the chat. Especially like those of us who we go from channel to channel to channel in the chat. We really do build a bond that even you don't even realize is happening until somebody's missing. And you're going, where are they? You know, it's like Cappy's mom when she passed away. That made me sad for a while, several days. I still miss her. I come across Native American things on Pinterest that I have posted on Instagram that she just loved. And it'll zoom, I'll think of her. So I don't know if you guys knew that she was kind of like Tony, Shining Hawk Healing. She was part Native American. Neat lady. You have an extension that short circuits. Hey, dude, I think that goes with being our age, my friend. You know, I hate using that ageism thing, but I also have fibromyalgia on top of it. Plus, my medication has a tendency to make me kind of spacey. So, hey. You know, we don't want the card that just flipped over. At least I don't. I don't identify with that card, so I don't even know I can tell you about it. Woo! Got 2 cards. And they're, oh, yes. Wow, 2, numerology. What's double 17? 35. Number 17 is the mountain lion. Look at that card. The mountain lion. Second card. Number 35. The horse. I think they were supposed to fall out together. These two are mortal enemies. I mean, a horse, a stallion will do everything it can to kill a mountain lion because it knows a mountain lion will eat the rest of the herd. One by one, it'll pick them off. And quite, cats. So let's read about the mountain lion, number 17 in the book. So you can tell this is older. The pages are starting to yellow in the book. I love the smell of books. Good thing I'm a writer, huh? That's weird. I have bookmarks. I haven't looked at this in quite some time. Wait a minute. Again, back here we went from crow to buffalo. Links. Okay. The mountain lion card is a poem. Mountain lion, O kingly leader of sleek feline form, touch my heart with courage, then sound the alarm, that I may lead with foresight, assurance, bright and true, to carry on the spirit of the strength I see in you. Wow. Now I'm definitely getting messages. I don't need to read anymore. You're talking about freedom. What is a cat? Yeah, a wild cat to you. Do you ever hear of a cat? Wow, wind's coming up out here at my house. I got a storm coming in today too. You ever hear of a wild cat that lives in a big group of animals except lions? Lions are the only ones that live in a pride. All the rest of the big cats are solitary animals. Where do you think the freedom is at? Is it in that pride where all the males do is lay around and fight and eat and protect and procreate, of course? While the females go out and they do the hunting, they raise the babies. One female will be like the nurse female, like wolves do. Lions and wolves, a pride of lions is very similar to a pack of wolves. These guys don't do that. And these guys have a range that is huge. Oh, I got a bobcat in my neighborhood. But these guys, they bite you on the head because that's what they do. They go for the temples. Especially children and women. They have smaller heads. Might not have smaller egos, but we have smaller heads. But yeah. So if you think about the characteristics of a mountain lion also, you'll never know they're there until all of a sudden they're running at you. And they may have been following you and paralleling you for hours or even days. Planning, stealthy, and efficient. So if the mountain lion or the cougar is your spirit animal, and sometimes I think it's my spirit animal part of the time. I had one talk to me, so changed my whole life. And I mean that literally in my head, talked to me, told me I was an idiot, put me in my place. But I learned, whoa, I can communicate with animals. And I do it with my cats all the time. I do it with people's animals that I see online. Somebody will say, well, my cat bit me or my animal bit me and I don't know why. There's a really good one. My cat bit so-and-so and never bites a person. Why is that? And I'm going, because that person didn't wait for your cat to come to them. Cats, you don't push. They'll get you. If they're going to nail you, they'll nail you. My cats are just lazy, dopey, and sleepy because they're so big and they're old. But most cats, if a cat doesn't come to you, leave it alone. Leave it alone. Let it come to you. It'll get curious eventually. It's going to have to come up and smell you at least. You know, that old curiosity killed the cat. They'll come and check you out. Just don't push it. Don't go, oh, kitty, kitty, kitty. Not all cats are too into that. They're going to nail you. Now, I was talking about the horse and the mountain lion. This guy, to me, because I'm a West Coast girl, I don't even have to look this one up. I'll read you the poem that goes with it, though. So the poems are beautiful. This guy is the epitome of, to me, there are three animals that are the epitome of freedom. Number one is the sperm whale. Huge animal. Huge animal. Totally weightless in the water. Completely free as long as there's not a whaling ship around. They don't really have many enemies because they're so big. Okay? That's freedom. Don't mess with me. And everything knows it. This guy, I've seen wild horses running across the plain, okay? There is nothing more beautiful. And I'm not talking, I've seen them in person doing that. Up on the Navajo Indian Reservation, I've seen horses like that. The Navajo's horses, a lot of them are pretty wild. They run around a lot. It's the way it's supposed to be. You know, your horse bonds with you, you call it in and you ride it. Otherwise, you let it be free. I'm kind of weird that way, but I was raised in the National Park Service where all the animals are free. And I wasn't allowed to have an animal that wasn't in a cage. So dogs and cats were not allowed. I'd have a guinea pig or a hamster or something like that, which is fine. I had both of those. I loved them both very much and handled them and pet them, and neither one of them bit me. They didn't bite anybody else. You ever have a hamster that wasn't a biter? People now say, oh, I wouldn't have a hamster. They bite. She didn't. She was really nice little critter. I know if you don't like rodents, see, this is the other thing with my mice situation. It's hard for me because I had a hamster for a pet. I've had mice for pets. So I have to kill them and dispose of them. It's hard. But this guy, you watch them run, riding on one. That's freedom. That's freedom. That takes me back to the card of the day today, which was a woman on a motorcycle talking about freedom is letting it all go and feeling the wind go through you and around you. So, yeah. The mountain lion is free because he's so stealthy and quiet, and his range is like hundreds of miles. Oh, no problem, Tracy. Thank you. Yeah, his range is hundreds of miles. So, and he's not tied down to his wife and kids and payments, and he's free. But he has to catch his meal. But he's an expert at that too. He's free at that. Because the other thing they do is they catch something, they kill it, and then they eat their fill, and then they drag it off and bury it so they can come back later for more. They never waste. You know, Bigfoot. People talk, well, why haven't they found the bones of a Bigfoot? How often, I don't know if you guys have been out in the forest hiking around and stuff, but I've done a lot of it. A lot of it. And I've seen dead deer and I've seen dead elk. I've never seen a dead bear. I used to live at Crater Lake National Park. Lots of bear. I've never seen, like the bones of a dead bear. And even the deer wouldn't be the whole thing because animals, carry off parts of it. But hi, Viviani. So something that's supposedly 8, 10, 12 feet tall and weighs like 800 to 1,000 pounds. That dies somewhere. I can see why people think that hey, a grizzly bear is that size and bigger. And you don't find a lot of their carcasses around. So that excuse about the reason that Bigfoot doesn't exist because they've never found the bones of one. Well, a lot of these forests, I know with my compost, I fight to keep it in a neutral pH because if it gets too acidic, stuff won't grow. And if it gets too alkaline, stuff won't grow. I do know that the forests in the Pacific Northwest are very acidic soils, especially the ones like around the redwoods. Azaleas grow there wild, like crazy, giant, almost trees of azaleas and rhododendrons. And I do know for a fact both of those require very acidic soil. So, acid kind of eats up bones. Oh, you just got elk reestablished in southern Kentucky? Elk are so cool. They really are. When you see one laying and just resting, see them laying and resting in the grass, in your yard. I visited friends and they're like, oh, look out the window when you're drinking your coffee. And here comes an elk. And then here comes another one. And they're like, they'll eat grass or what. They'll eat from the lawn. And then they lay down while they chew. It's so peaceful and so cool. And they're so big. Compared to a deer, wow. Yeah. When I was a little girl at Crater Lake National Park, we had the community rescued a little fawn that the mom had gotten hit by a logging truck. Yeah. So no more mommy. And we had to bottle feed this baby. So we all took turns bottle feeding this little sweet little buck. He was so cute. He would go from house to house to house calling you. One of the kids, he knew where the houses where we all were, calling us out to come and play with him. He was just like a dog and make the cutest little sounds. But what I'm leading up to is the first time I heard an elk call, I knew it was a ghost. I just knew it was a monster in the woods. Oh my gosh. Not only does it make your head vibrate, but it's like a lion's call. It vibrates your chest too if they're anywhere near close to you. Wow. And it's that high, shrill. So yeah, people who I get tickled. I will watch some of the storytellers, the dark storytellers, like Mr. Ballin, and he's got one in the forest, and you hearing things scream. Foxes, oh my God, they're creepy. Barred owls make a noise that sounds like a woman being stabbed to death. If you don't know what those things are, they're pretty scary. They really are, and you'll hear them. You'll hear them in the night, especially if you're a tent sleeper, which I used to be a backpacker. So that's how I know the noises. And when I heard splashing in the water, I always managed to pitch my tent near a creek. Yeah, screech owls. Oh my. Hey, and then you got the great horned owl. Hoo 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 hoo. I can do that one because before they cut down my dead trees, I had one who hung out there, and I mean, he'd keep me awake at night. My window was open. It'd be like, shut up, because he'd be out there hooting away. And I'd argue with that neighbor. She had at the time she had like 12 cats, and she'd let them out to wander. And I kept telling her she wasn't very smart, that the owls would get her cats. And she's like, nah, they're not that big. And I'm going, okay, you've never seen a great horned owl up close, have you? Their wingspan is almost 6 foot across. They're a big bird. And those talons are so strong when they go down after any of those birds of prey, they go down after their prey. That talon severs the spinal cord. That's all there is to it. That she's thinking, well, the cat will turn around and fight back. If the cat gets a chance to. Oh, they will. They will. I used to work at an apartment complex that had a tennis court back in the desert. Instead of towards the road, it was on the back side of the apartments towards the desert. And people would walk their little dogs on leashes back there. And great horned owls and hawks would be trying to pick off their dogs on a leash. Yeah, weren't afraid of the people. Critters are hungry, they're going to get it. Especially something like an owl. They're so fast, they know there's no way that person's going to do anything to me. Nectarine got attacked by an owl. Really? Yeah, she's lucky she's alive. I used to work with an animal wildlife rehabilitator, and she would let me feed the raptors, but only if she was the one holding them. Because you hold them up, well, I don't know if you've ever seen like vet shows, animal rescue shows. You hold them with their back up next to your chest, and you hold on to one leg in one hand and one leg in the other hand, and you hold them up close to you, wings up next to their body under your arms. And you hold on as tight as you can. They're really strong. And you got to make sure those talons and those feet stay like this, or you're in trouble. You're in trouble. They'll take a chunk out of you. Yeah, you would. Yeah, you would. Albert would be. So would Willie. I think Albert and Willie would have a contest on who's fatter. Willie, the other day, I was like, dang, dude, he's got rolls now. And it's my fault. It's not his fault. I'm the one who puts the food out, It's not like he goes in the cupboards and feeds himself. And then his sister's getting thin. I'm worried about it. They're 13 years old, Stoney. So every day I have my kitties, it's a blessing for me because they're getting at that age. Yeah, small stack. Oh, you got 2 teeny weeny chiweenies, huh? Or chihuahuas. My next door neighbor has a chiweenie, and it's funny. They've had several dogs since they got the chiweenie. The chiweenie fell off the couch or something and hurt its back and was paralyzed in the back end. So they did surgery on it. And he, drunks like a walk sailor. Welcome to the mind of a person with fibromyalgia. Walks like a drunk sailor in the back end. I saw him the other day. All the other dogs pretty much have, all the ones that were around when he came in, they've all died. And he's the one with the little white face. And you know what? He don't drunk like a walk sailor no more. Oh no. That's about as good as me. Was that last week or the week before with the 3-foot stick? See what fun you could have living with a woman that has fibromyalgia, or someone, and men have it too. Kids have it, fibromyalgia. So Your sister's dog is a cross between a Chiweenie and a Shih Tzu. Oh, that would be an interesting mix. That would be a cute dog. I love Shih Tzus. Yeah, I like little dogs, but I'm a big dog girl. My breed is a German Shepherd. I had one and never felt safer in my life. Nobody bothered me. And he was a sweetheart. But if he didn't know you, he'd chew you a new asshole if you came in the yard uninvited. And everybody thought he was a wolf because he was snow white. And he was much bigger than normal, and he didn't have that squatty rear end of a normal German Shepherd. He was purebred. Oh, a little fur ball, I'm sure. Shih Tzu? Shih Tzu and Chiweenie would be a little puff ball. I like Pomeranians because they're the little. They remind me of the makeup puff, of the old glamour days in Hollywood. Yes. That's why you have different colored kitties, different daddies. And a cat only ovulates when there's copulation. Unlike a lot of other mammals that ovulate and then go into heat. Cats go into heat and they don't ovulate until they have sex. So every time they have sex, it's a new egg and a new sperm and a new spot in the uterus. I've done C-sections on dogs and kittens when I was a vet tech. It's my favorite thing to do. Talk about feel like you really matter at the same time you really don't matter. You know that these little critters, if you don't get them to breathe and get them really pissed off at you where they're rumbling at you, that they're going to die because mommy was put under anesthesia so that you could do the surgery. Well, they're under the effects of the anesthesia, so they don't want to breathe for the first time. So you got to rub them really hard. And it's funny because I watch them do it on TV and they're trying to be real. That don't work. You want to piss them off, rub them really hard, and they'll go. And guess what? They're breathing. It is so cool when the vet puts this little bloody slimy thing in your hand and you've got a towel in your towel and it's not breathing and it has, no, the heart's beating, but it's not breathing yet. It's really, really cool. Nope. Well, the towel when you're rubbing them, because when the vet cuts them out of the uterus, they're pretty bloody and wet. Just like if they were born in the birth sac, because you're cutting into that birth sac. So yeah, it's like slapping a baby, and you got to keep them going. So that gets really tricky because you might have 6 kitties. And this guy is not complaining anymore and he's not acting like he's breathing. So you got to go back and rub him again. And then you go down to this guy and then you go to this guy and you just keep doing that on down the chain. You're really exhausted by the time it's over. But boy, is it cool when mama's awake and she's feeding those little babies. It's just, I don't know. I can't describe the feeling of that. It's the closest. I've never delivered a baby for a human. So I guess that's the closest thing I can say I've ever been involved in. I've helped with just a couple of domestic, kitties. One was a gray and white tabby and the other one was a calico. And I've helped with greyhound, racing greyhound. And people raise them strictly just for racers. I wanted one of those puppies bad. Greyhounds are so cool. And they're born with smushed in faces. They have a long head and snout. They look like little pit bulls when they're born. And French bulldog. French bulldogs, if you get one, get prepared. If you aren't prepared to spay and neuter them, and you want to have puppies, you better make sure you have a good vet good pet insurance because they cannot. The brachycephalic animals, like Persian cats, it's not so bad, but it is there. Those are the animals with the smushed in faces, like bulldogs and boxers and all those guys. Their heads are really wide because they're smushed this way. And so their heads are also, if you'll notice, they're kind of big for their bodies. They don't fit through the birth canal. So if you want to have that kind of a dog, yep, pugs, you want to have that kind of a dog and you're going to raise them and you think you're going to make money, make sure you have a good vet because that's how they're born. They are not born naturally. They get stuck in the birth canal and the mom will die and the baby will die. They are always delivered C-section, especially French bulldogs. But there again, that's so fun. It's so cute. And then the person has the option at that point, because you've got the uterus all there, all splayed out. Do you want to spay this animal so this doesn't happen again? It's all right there. I've also been involved in spays on kitties that were pregnant, and that's sad. But they were little. And the owners, nobody knew they were pregnant. We told the owner that cat was pregnant before we did the surgery, and the owner was like, don't say anything to my wife. So you have to do what the owner says, not what's best for the animal. You have to do, in the state of Arizona, you have to do what the owner says. So if someone brings you a perfectly healthy dog and says, put him down, I don't want him anymore, you have to put them down. You know, I think about it, Keith, most of the Chihuahuas that I know of are, I mean, that are all 100% Chihuahua, not mixed with something else. They're all females too. That's interesting. Bella. Believe me, Tucson, Arizona, there's no shortage of Chihuahuas around here. Nikki. Text me, Nikki. That's cool. I was thinking the other day, Stony, I've known you for like 5 years and I've never given you my phone number. I know your home address and everything, and never given you my phone number. That's about bizarre. I don't get that one. Harley has my phone number. So, dude, I will be giving you my phone number. Crazy. Because to talk to you, I always have to go to Instagram, and I'm going, why? What the hell? I've known you forever. It's not like I can't trust you. Yeah, you weren't even Stony Baker when I first met you. You were the Mad Dabber. Well, yeah, no, I am not a phone chatter, so I don't. But once you get me on the phone, you have a hard time getting me off. So just a warning. Just a warning. Yeah, I love watching new life being coming into this world. People who raise their kids that, oh, that's dirty, and they don't get it. They don't get it. I actually wonder how they had kids themselves. Because let me tell you, people ain't clean. Yeah, Mad Dabber. And I met you on Robert Burke's channel. So I met you because of Robert. I still keep in touch with him too. Over tea and gummies, you guys do. That's funny. Well, yeah, I was telling Harley yesterday, I think I can get gummies. I can't get the candy bars yet. Give me halfway through October, I can start getting chocolate bars. This is what I did last year for October. This is last year about this time. It's hotter here. We still have 100-degree days here. Not today. It's only supposed to be a high of 92. because we got 10-20% chance of rain. It's just cloudy and humid. That's okay. It's not over 100. It's normal. This is typical fall in the 90s. He did Colorado weather. Yeah, he did. I actually miss his Colorado Springs weather report. Now that I know a couple other people who live in Colorado Springs. Matter of fact, Debbie, tomorrow night. That's where she's from. She tells everybody that on her channel. So I'm not doxing her. So yeah. And she's the second person that's been on a Lightworkers Roundtable from Colorado Springs. The other one lives at the base of Cheyenne Mountain. Well, Debbie doesn't live too far from there either. You know, that's where NORAD is. Wow, you guys. Getting close to 2 hours. Trying to think of what I'm going to do for dinner. Yeah, I was listening to the Weather Channel just before we went live, and all of a sudden, DeSantis is being all nicey nice to Biden after he was going around telling everybody on Fox News and stuff. Yeah, I've talked to other people, but he's talked to mayors and stuff in my state, but Biden hasn't called me personally. Well, gee, what do you do to make it inviting for him to call you? And nothing nice to say about the man, and the things you accuse him of are horrendous. So, you will? Oh, good. You go live after me, Stony Baker, and I will watch you while I eat my lunch. Yeah, he's forced to have to do something that, oh my God, has to do with, oh yeah, I got other people who live here besides women and immigrants that he's trying to eliminate. So, yeah. It smells of the Lord's Day. You're getting ready to make dinner here. What smells like that? All I can say is it must have Parmesan cheese in it, because that's what attracts the mice to my traps. I want you to know I got a mouse in the grow room over the weekend, I guess it was. Been several days ago. Big fat one. Oh man, this was a really big mouse. Oh my word. So it had to be grandpa or grandma. Anyway, got it. That's been the first one in weeks in there. But yeah, I put peanut butter on the inside of the electric trap, and then I take really cheap Parmesan cheese, you know, the store brand Parmesan, sprinkle Parmesan cheese, and I just shake it, just flick it like that, and it'll just flick just a little bit out around that trap. Oh, and that stinky foot smell, just those mice love that stuff. So, oh, FEMA was on the move. Biden did it last night. But it was yesterday that DeSantis was saying that Biden hadn't talked to him yet, and he talked to the governors of the towns that were going to be involved and hadn't talked to him yet. Why is that? And Biden called him immediately after he got off the air. Your son bounced out of Puerto Rico? Good. Because Puerto Rico got slammed. It's gonna, card readers, well, Lena Rodriguez from Tarot Down Under, she's in Australia. She was doing a reading on it hitting Puerto Rico, the hurricane's hitting Puerto Rico again, slamming it like it is, and that's going to have an effect on our drug availability, because so many prescription drugs, pharmaceuticals, are made in Puerto Rico. Why aren't our stuff? We need to bring that shit back into this country. Well, that is this country, Katie. Puerto Rico's a state as far as I'm concerned. I have friends that live in Puerto Rico that are born and raised. I went to school with them when I was doing my master's. I'm concerned about her too. You know, it's just they made it through the last hurricanes that slammed, and what was it, 2 or 3 of them that slammed Puerto Rico when Trump was president, and she survived that. So, as a matter of fact, she had a baby because of that. She and her honey had to do something with their time and didn't have any electricity. You know, that's what happens, right? So anyway, I got 5 more minutes. I think I'm gonna call this off, y'all. I love you guys. Let's see what we got. I'm just gonna cut the cards here. Ooh, that's a neat card. This is once again from Tony's deck. It's the Moon card. Regulate. That's telling me all things in moderation. Take it easy. Don't overdo. Don't underdo. Find your balance. Find your balance. These cards are cool. And yeah, our root chakras need to be grounded. So you find your grounding. If you need to, go outside, hang out in the grass, go for a walk. Take your shoes off though, because if you're walking around in modern shoes that don't have a leather sole and leather in between, because if you have foam in your shoes, that's synthetic, will block the magnetic influence of the earth in your feet. Take your shoes off. Might be cold. It's okay. I'm not asking you to do something for hours. Just take your shoes off. Stick your feet in the grass. Stick your feet in the ground. And breathe really slow and deep a couple times. And you will have it. You'll find yourself sleeping better. And the more you do that, the harder you sleep. So I'm taking that because I need to do that. I'm going to go eat my lunch outside, take my shoes off because it's cooler today. I think I'll make a cheese crisp. You know, like you get the Mexican food restaurant. Air fryers make those lovely. I got an air fryer oven combo. It's a convection oven, air fryer oven. Oh boy, do they make good cheese crisps. Those are really good with cinnamon and sugar on them too. Bad, Katie, bad for a diabetic. Anyhow, and then I've got Nikki and Stony in here that are the opposite of me. They got to eat all the time because they're hypoglycemic. Bless you guys. I love you so much. Thank you for being here. You don't know how much I appreciate you. Like I said, Saturday and Saturday Solutions. I love you more than I can ever express. You're more than my social outlet. You're my family. You're my best friends. And emotionally, I depend upon you. And it's such a good feeling to know I have people that I trust that I can depend on. Thank you, Viviani. Janet, take care, everybody. You know, the usual spiel. Be kind to everybody, especially those that aren't kind to you. And if you can't be kind to those that aren't kind to you, just turn around and walk away. Don't confront. Don't argue. Find your peace that way. Hey, good to see you, Herc, just as I'm getting ready to leave, my dear. Be kind to them. It's short-circuiting their brain because we're supposedly those sentimental snowflakes that can't handle anything. But who are the people that are freaking out? Not us sentimental snowflakes, thanks. I just drift and float around. I'll take a sentimental snowflake any day over a angry piece of hot iron. No, thank you. No, thank you. You don't have to show me your strength that way, because to me, that's not strength. That's an artificial strength. Hot iron rusts. Everything has a weakness. So don't prove to me you're strong. Just prove to me your worth. Prove if you've got integrity and decency, we have no problems. You got to show both of those, though. I mean, you got to live your life in integrity and decency. And so we have no problems. I'm looking at everybody in this chat, and that's all of us. There's nobody in here that's malicious or angry or wants to do harm to a single soul. That's why I love you guys. Hey, be kind to yourself and hey, go find something good to eat. It's that time of the day, you know? I love you. We'll see you next time. Oh, and don't miss tomorrow. Lightworkers Roundtable, 5 o'clock. Debbie Freebird Spirit is my guest. Should be a great time. We'll see you then. Love you. Bye-bye now.